Hello there, dear YouTubers. My name is King1993, and today is another day of me trying to explain three more of the triple S rank burst 3 character within this game. Okay, and before starting, do understand that this is a beginners and intermediate guide only. So for the middle players, I highly suggest that you go to some other places to get your information from. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Now, as I have stated that this today is gonna be the burst 3 of triple S rank character, and out of which I have only four of them, and one of them I do not have. Now, Modernia, Alice, Scarlet, and Snow White, and the one which I do not have is, let's see, someone from the Tetra. Here it is, Noir. So this is one of the fifth character which I do not have. Now here is the question. The question is, okay, why am I gonna talk about three of them and not all five of them? Well, here is the thing. In order to minimize the video as short as possible for the viewers' interest, that is, I am going to talk about three of them now, and the next two of them in some other time. Okay. So let's see. If we go to a certain website which goes by the name pridewent.gg, go to this Nikke section and then click on tier list. Afterwards, click on this box with ads. Okay. Now, I have previously talked about triple S rank, burst 1 and burst 2, and today I'll be talking about burst 3. Now, normally these are put in this manner here, but I had to rearrange them. I had to put Noir first, okay, and then I had to put Modernia, and then I had to post a Scarlet here. Okay. Now the reason I will be talking about Alice and Snow White later, that is because both Alice and Snow White, okay, well, they have a little bit of problem, and because of that reason, I'll be talking about them later. So which is why Alice and Snow White can be talked about later. Okay. Now let's talk about all three of them: Modernia, Noir, and Scarlet. Okay. Now Noir is part of the Tetra manufacturer. Okay, she is part of the 777 squad. Her rarity is SSR, attacker class, shotgun user, wind type element, and burst 3 character. Okay, now other than that, she is a type of character who will work excellent if Noir is packed with blanks or blends. Okay, so the question remains is, okay, then is Noir useless without blends? Yes, almost useless. So in order to get the maximum potential out of this Noir character, obviously you'll have to use blends. Otherwise, the second best option is either for you to get Modernia or Scarlet. Okay, now the question remains is why? Well, you have to understand that if we read all of the description here, only then you will be able to understand what is happening. Now, normally Noir's normal attack is basically high damage dealing. That's basically it. Okay, because an attacker type. And now this is skill 1 and skill 2. In skill 1, when the HP is above 70%, it will affect the allies. What are the effects? The total damage output of the allies are gonna be 14.8% more constantly. Okay. Now, what is skill 2? Now, in skill 2 activates when entering burst, affecting all allies. So basically speaking, whatever the burst is will affect the allies. What will happen is the maximum ammunition capacity is gonna increase by 5 rounds. Okay. Now, do understand that this will only apply to shotgun users. Okay, and the magazine's reloading time will be reduced by 39.88%. So basically speaking, whichever shotgun user there is, their overall reload rate is gonna get lowered by, I think I shouldn't say shotgun. Nothing about shotgun is written here. Maybe all of the allies. Okay, it doesn't matter if they are shotgun users or not. Okay, so sorry about that. So basically speaking, all of the allies, it doesn't matter what their weapon is, they will have extra 5 rounds within their weapon, and their reloading speed will basically increase by another 9.88%. So it's gonna take less time to reload the full magazine. Okay. Now, other than that, when it comes to the burst, what will happen with the burst is will affect all the enemies. All the enemies will take basically 351.64% of damage output. and the second one is gonna affect all the shotgun users. Okay, all the shotgun user hit rate is gonna increase by 13.93% for 10 seconds. Now damage interruption part, I do not know what this thing means. Okay, now activate when full burst ends with an ally of the same squad on the battlefield. So basically speaking, if Noir, okay, is to be equipped with blunts, then even without blunts, Noir is extremely fine. But if Noir were to be compared with her twin sister, which is Plants, then what will happen is hit rate will be increased by 11.61% for 30 seconds, and damage interruption part 19.36% will be increased for 30 seconds. So basically speaking, even without Noir, okay, I mean even without Blance, Noir is extremely fine. But if paired up with Blance, then what will happen is Noir's overall performance will increase a little bit more. So that's basically how it goes. Okay, so which is why at the end of this place, as a cons, in the cons section, it is written here, honestly there are none. And that's the whole thing why this character called Noir is a very good option for any player. Okay, because truth to be told, trying to get an, let's say, so trying to get an SSR rank character at the triple S tier, okay, is a very hard topic. And the fact that this character can easily go to that place, okay, and then give out even more performance with her squad member, which is her 777 sister. And that's basically what makes this character extremely useful. Okay, now just because this character is useful, I'm not gonna be wasting all of my time here. I'll be talking about the next one. The next one is called Modernia and Scarlet. Now, I'll be talking about Modernia first. Now, Modernia, unlike Noir, I think is gonna be available in the, what should I call it? I think Noir is gonna be available in the ordinary section of the recruit area because the current version has not changed it. Maybe that is the reason why I wasn't able to get her within this place. Otherwise, if I had, I would definitely try to get them. Okay. Now, unlike Noir and Blance, okay, the problem with Modernia is a pilgrim type, okay. So because pilgrim type, what will happen is she will be very hard to get, okay. Now, a part of the heretic squad, okay, her rarity is SSR, attacker type, minigun user, element is fire, and burst type is burst 3, okay. Now, when it comes to Modernia, okay, Modernia is basically one of those type, like, the thing that is written here is the cons, that is longer full burst time can actually harm you in the long run. Okay, normally the burst of other Nikke are basically 5 to 10 seconds, which is why once the burst window is basically gone, excess damage is not gonna happen. Using her against single enemy often leads to DPS loss. Okay, now even though all of the cons are written here, the thing is she's gonna be putting out so much of damage output that you will think, okay, I don't think I need to put any concentration on the cons. So that's basically how this Modernia works. Now, unless you are a meta player, that is completely different. But for a beginner and an intermediate player, even these cons are not gonna be that much of a problematic issue. So whoever says that Modernia is not that much good, I think you should go and drink some toilet water to uh, go to the hospital and rethink of your life. So basically, the reason why I am saying that is because I had been using this character, and afterwards I have started using this character, Modernia. The only thing that I have gotten is higher success rate. Okay, the only reason that happened is because from a beginner and intermediate players point of perspective, these cons are basically non-existent. Okay, now I'm not saying this thing doesn't exist, it exists, but it will only affect the meta players. But the beginners and the intermediate player will not feel these cons effect. Okay, now other than that, the question remains is what is her capability. Obviously she will be doing average attacker amount of damage, okay, not extremely high as guilty. But other than that, when it comes to her passive skill 1 and 2, let's talk about them. In passive skill 1, activates when normal attack hits affect the target. What happens? Additional 3.05% of attack is gonna happen. Okay, now activates when normal attack hits 200 times, affect self. What happens? Critical damage increases by 14.25%, can stack up to 5 times and last for 10 seconds. So that is actually huge. Okay, now max ammunition capacity is gonna also increase by 5.04% up to 5 times after 5 times and last up to 10 seconds. Okay, so that's basically how it goes. This one, that is. Now what about skill 2? Now in skill 2, it basically says affect all allies. Okay, activates when entering burst. So when you enter burst, it will affect all the allies. What will happen is the allies will gain 8.56% of overall hit rate for 15 seconds and affect self. Okay, what happens after activating 200 of hits during hit increasing hit rate status? Okay, so whatever the hit rate status increases in the burst, it is, I think, it will also increase the overall attack percentage of 229.36% for 10 seconds. So obviously it basically means that she is more of a self buffer instead of buffing others. So because of that reasons, her overall damage output goes extremely high. Okay, now other than that, let's talk about the burst. Now when it comes to the burst skill, what happens is affect all allies. Okay, burst time increases 5 seconds for all allies. So whatever the allies overall burst time is, let's say 5 seconds or 10 seconds, it will increase by another 5 seconds. So the 5 second one is going to be doing up to 10 seconds, and the 10 second one is going to be doing up to 5 seconds more of their burst time. Okay, now another one is affect self, grants unlimited ammunition for 15 seconds. Yes, that is 100% true. So during these 15 seconds, Modernia do not have to reload. Okay, so Modernia do not have to reload. That is one of the main important thing about Modernia, is that during her burst time she doesn't reload. She just constantly hit the enemies, so to the point that enemies actually get destroyed within the fastest rate. Okay, now destroy mode. What is destroy mode? Extending the line of sight and auto aim all enemies within fire range. Stage enemy will be recognized as a single enemy regardless of its interruption parts. Okay, so basically speaking, interruption parts is basically like enemies. There will be enemies that will have multiple parts. Okay, so even if they have multiple parts, they will be considered as single enemies. So I think that is interruption part. Anyway, that is not the important point. The important point is when this burst is activated, most of the enemies within a single range. Okay, what is a single range? Let's say this combat information teach this burst type, and this two is a single area of concentration. So when Modernia activates her burst 3, so what will happen is all of the enemies within this range is gonna get automatically hit by Modernia. So if I were to move this, let's say this area of cursor to this place here, then what will happen is any enemies within this side are gonna get automatically hit. Okay, so that's basically what it means, that it is gonna do an auto aim system by which Modernia will be constantly hitting multiple enemies at a time. Okay, now let's talk about the last but not least, the final one, which is gonna be Scarlet. Okay, now Scarlet, once you use her, you will understand why you will not be wanting to use her in the future. Okay, now why would I say this? Okay, there is definitely some reason behind it. Well, you see, when I play any of the Nikke, the first thing which I do not look at the cons and constantly see what they are capable of. Now here's the thing: if you are using Scarlet, Scarlet is only gonna be good if you have a healer. Now, if you are planning on using a healer, then plans with Noir is going to be a good option. Otherwise, using this character as a healer is not the best option. The best option of healer I would suggest is going to be either these two here. Not the best, second best. The two best one I highly suggest is going to be either Emma or Noise, because if you use the combination of both of these two Nikke, then what will happen is these two Nikke will be able to provide large quantity of HP support to this Scarlet character. Why? Because this Scarlet character, the only problem she has is her HP goes down extremely fast. Okay, first of all, let's introduce this Scarlet. So Scarlet is a pilgrim. Pioneer, basically speaking, the first Nikke squad in the game. Her reality is SSR. She is an attacker class. Assault rifle is her weapon, which basically looks like a sword. Her sword is the assault rifle weapon, so don't get confused. Now, her element is electric. Her burst type is burst type 3. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about this skill and burst. Only then you will be able to understand why using her is not going to be the best option. Okay, so here's the thing. Normal attack is obviously higher because of she being an attacker type. Okay, rip and tear. This is skill 1. So in skill 1 activates after landing 10 attacks, attack self. Okay, so what happens is Scarlet will gain 23.15% of attack up to 5 times and will last up to 5 seconds. Now at the same time, what will happen is while she is performing this, okay, her HP will drop by 4.01% every time. Okay, now let's talk about skill 2. In skill 2, affect the attacker 30% chance of casting when attacked. Okay, so basically speaking, when Scarlet gets attacked by the enemy, then what will happen is she's gonna be doing 138.24% of more damage to the enemy. Okay, now the last one is attack self. Is when the HP falls below 60%, critical damage will increase by 6.61%. Okay, so obviously you can see why I am talking about using a healer. Otherwise, if you don't have a good healer, don't use this character. Okay, now this is the main reason why I would say that if you are a beginner or an intermediate player and you don't care about these cons that much, even after then, Scarlet is a very difficult character to deal with because she constantly loses her HP. Now let's talk about the final part, which is going to be epic self. So, oh, another thing I forgot, because Scarlet uses her weapons within the fastest period of time, I had to give her low, lower reload rate time, something like that. Okay. Now, first of all, let's talk about the burst. So, when the burst is used, which basically has a cooldown of 40 seconds, what she basically does is she affects self cast when HP is below 50%. So when her HP is below 50% and the burst happens, she will be able to do critical damage of 19.57% of critical rate for up to 10 seconds. Now, not critical damage, critical rate will increase by let's say about 20% for 10 seconds. Okay. Now, affect all enemies. What are the effect will happening is she will be one-shotting them. Okay, all of the enemies. So basically speaking, if let's say you are playing boss with ads and a lot of enemy minions are there, okay, so what will Scarlet do is Scarlet will basically use a one slash attack on all of the enemy, and most of the enemies are gonna die due to of the high attack damage rate. Okay, and what is the high attack damage? Is gonna be about 850 attack percentage as damage. So Scarlet is gonna be one-shotting them when she uses her uh burst 3. Okay, so that's basically how Scarlet is used. Now her cons is high reload time. Okay, that is 100% true. High risk, high reward. Okay, yeah, definitely her HP goes down, but her overall damage output increases. Pilgrim manufacturer hard to obtain. So that's the main 3 reasons why I would not use this. Okay, now other than that, the question remains is okay, then if I were to prioritize this, how would I do so? Now here's the thing. Noir, even without Blanche, is still a very good character. Okay, Modernia on her own is a very good character. So let's just say that if you have Modernia, I think most of the problem will be gone. Even if she has a little bit of problem on this part, for the beginner and intermediate player, it will be unnoticeable. Okay. Now, when it comes to Scarlet, because Scarlet is gonna be at the third, because the main problem with Scarlet is high reload time and high HP downfall, which is why if you do not have a proper uh HP generator character, this character is gonna die very easily. Okay, so at the end of the day, the only thing that remains is the question of which character should be given which type of core. Okay, what type of core? From this lost sector, that is. I mean harmony cube. Which character should be given which type of cube? Now, because Noir is a shotgun user, it would be better to give her higher reload. I mean high attack rate. Okay, so basically speaking, high hit rate. So I would highly suggest that you give high hit rate to Noir. Okay, that is point number one. Now point number two is okay. Then what about Modernia? Now Modernia is also the same type of high attack percentage and high attack rate. So I will also put assault cube, okay, with or two Modernia, and last but not least is Scarlet. Now, unlike Scarlet, who has a very long reload rate, which is basically written here, which is 100% true, I would give Scarlet the fast reload rate, I think. Yep. Yep. I would definitely give this one. As you can see here, I have put Scarlet in the resilience queue. Okay, so that's basically how it goes. So if you think that this video will be able to help you understand of which type of triple S rank first three character you should be using in this game, then today you will have gotten a decent idea of what you should be doing on your next pull. So if you find this video interesting, then please give a like and subscribe and click the bell notification icons to get more of this type of topic on a regular basis. Thank you and see you again next time.